Hello there, I trust you're well. Welcome to this presentation today on APA 6th edition. I'm going to cover some of the citation basics that are common to this referencing style. My name is Hari Kipkemoi Bet. Welcome to the channel and please subscribe if you have not. Now, APA stands for American Psychological Association. It is currently on its 7th edition, but the 6th edition is still being used globally in many fields. The first aspect that I'd like to cover today is that APA uses a surname and year only in citations. So when you're writing your paper, you'd write your argument as Bet 2020 has observed that, or Milimo 2019 argued that. So all the time, remember to use the surname and the year only when you're writing your statements. A second aspect of APA is that you can present your citations in 4 different ways. For example, the first one, Karani 2017 argued that governments, and in this case, we have the citation coming at the beginning of the sentence. So we have Karani and then in brackets the year. You could also have the citation coming in the middle of a sentence. For example, governments ought to, and then we have Karani, 2017. Now, you could also have a third way when you have this statement that most of the time has people use in their academic writing, according to Karani 2017, which is similar to the first one. And then the last one, you could have both the year and the brackets, and the year and the citation, and the surname rather, being outside the bracket. So we have in 2017, Karani argued that, and then, so that's how you could present your citation in 4 different ways. And that's the second aspect of APA. Let's look at a third component, a third basic. Now, sometimes you have more than one offer. If you have one offer, you'd simply say, Adams 2021 established that, and then you continue writing a statement. How about if you have 2 offers? Then you'd have Wasonga and Kilel 2018 concluded that, and you continue with your statement. If you have 3 to 5 authors, it is normally recommended that you first of all mention all the 3. So you'd have Kibaki, Oduor, and Omwenga have recently argued. And make sure when you talk about recently, it's actually recent. So you wouldn't quote something that is 10 years old and still mention recent. So said you mention all the 3 offers the first time. The subsequent mention, so if you need to cite the same offers the second or third time, then you would mention Kibaki et al. And then you have 2021 also observe that. So this applies to 3 to 5 offers. But if you have 6 or more offers, then you just begin with the first offer et al. And then you continue with your statement. Like we have Molo et al. 2016 opined that. Okay, opine simply means they gave their opinion. So this specifically applies to APA 6th edition. The 7th edition has got a number of changes. I think, for example, 3 or more offers will just begin with et al. You don't have to cite them the first time like we're doing in this case. So that's number 3 and a third basic of APA citation, 6th edition. Let's look at the number 4. Use of and ampersand. That sounds like a pun over there. So we have Wasonga and Kilel 2018 concluded that school boards need to be motivated from time to time. Now look at the word and. Because the year is in bracket and because this statement begins, the citation begins the statement, then you'd use the and to join the 2 citations. But if you're using the citation in bracket, the entire citation in brackets, like the second case, school boards need to be motivated from time to time. Wasonga and Kilel, that should be Wasonga and Kilel, then we have 2018 over there. So we have Wasonga and Kilel 2018. So then you'd use the ampersand, the sign there, to join the 2 citations. So remember not to use the ampersand when it is outside the bracket, but rather when it is within the brackets. A 5th basic of APA citation direct quotations. So sometimes when you're writing your academic paper, you need to use direct quotations, and it is normally actually recommended that you don't have more than 10% of your work having direct quotations. Rule of thumb is that you need to indicate the exact page of your citation when it comes to APA. So for instance, you'd have Salah 2021, page 23, concluded that no business can survive the COVID-19 pandemic without re-strategizing. And by the way, these are hypothetical cases. I did not pick them from a particular source. So these apply specifically to citations that are not more than 40 words. That means if you have a citation that is less than 40 words, then you'd follow this style where you have the surname, the year, and the page indicated. And then you put the direct quotation marks. So single or double quotation marks, use them depending on whether you're using British English or American English, or any other English for that matter. But if you have longer quotations, which are more than 40 words, then you would still follow the same style in terms of have the authors, then you have the year, the page, but instead of using the double or single quotation marks, then you need to have the entire paragraph of the 40 words or more indented. So it doesn't begin from the margin like it does for the rest of the statement. So you need to have some indentation, and then still the other aspects are indicated. And as I've said, you don't use the quotation marks, the direct quotation marks. If you're writing and your work is 1.5 spacing or double spacing, then you're allowed to use single spacing for the quotation, the larger quotation. You can use single spacing for this. So that is about quotations. Let's look at another basic, a basic of APA. Language. Now APA uses present perfect and past tense. Present perfect, so we would say Oyigo 2021 has discovered that students, okay, or the past tense, Msalame 2017 realized in her study that. So we have the past tense, we have the present perfect. So some of these phrases that you could use in your work, if it is about the past tense, you can say discovered, then present perfect, has or have discovered. So this shows some aspect of recency that APA would like to bring forth. Concluded, has or have concluded. Argued, has or have argued. Observed, or has or have observed, and many others. And finally, the list of references in APA needs to be arranged alphabetically. So that means the one that begins with A has to come first, ahead of the one that begins with D. Indent the second and subsequent line of each reference, and I'm going to show an example. And I'd recommend, and it's actually recommended, that you use a citation tool to be effective, because sometimes when you can imagine if you have 20 references that you need to put all the details. Manually doing it might be a bit taxing, and it can consume not just time, but also you're likely to miss out on some important aspects. So try use some referencing tools like Zotero, even Word, MS Word can be effective, Mendeley, and many others. Let me show you an example. So said, the first line begins from the margin. Okay, it's alphabetical first of all, so Alexander, Anderson, and all that. So this is alphabetical. But secondly, the second and the subsequent lines, are indented. So you don't begin this teaching from the margin, or this zero from the margin. You have some indentation. And normally space is left out before, between the references. So you do that for each and every reference. All right, and maybe just one last item, APA 6th edition and even 7th, they normally recommend that you have this DOI, a number that permanently, digital object identifier, a permanent number that identifies a specifically a published item, so that it's not lost out. So these are some of the basics of APA referencing. I hope they're useful to you. Once again, remember to subscribe to the channel for more. Thank you very much and have a wonderful time.